Okay, so in this video I'm going to introduce to you a way to get user input other than from a text box, and it's pretty simple. So this is just a simple form with a single button and a label for a response. So what we're going to do is in your form load, we are going to have the computer find a random number. And I'm actually going to want that random number to be global. So up here we're going to declare it as private G or underscore secret as integer. And then in your form load we actually need to find this random number. So secret will equal, I want a random number between 1 and 30, not 0 and 30. So the formula is int, so we don't have an off by 1 error, and then 2 parens, and then it'll be high, which is 30, minus low, which is 1, and then it's plus 1, it always is, times RND, plus low, which is 1. So that's the convoluted random number formula, which you can always look up. I'll never make you memorize it. For testing purposes only, I'm going to say that me.text is going to equal my secret number so I have a clue what's going on. Now we're going to code the guess button. And we need a variable to represent the integer that I'm guessing. So dim guess as integer. And guess is going to equal an input box. And as soon as you hit that paren, this helper bubble pops up. And it wants a prompt. Enter a guess between 1 and 30. And if you want, you can do comma, and then in bold it says title. So your title can be guess the secret number, whatever you want it to be, and that's good enough. Go ahead and run your program. Okay, so I hit enter for guess, and this is an input box. Whatever you enter, even though it looks like a number, it's actually a string being converted to a number. So if you were to now say that you want to say if guess is equal to secret, then LBL response says you get it right. And we'll just leave it at that for right now. Run your program. Guess. Okay, and everybody's number at this point is going to be 22 most likely. So if I put in 22 here and hit enter, it says I got it. If you do it again, say 45, okay, you'd have to stop it and redo it, but it won't do anything. Okay, so if they're equal, we got it. Else if guess is less than secret. Actually, we want to do something else different here. If guess is less than 1, then LBL response is invalid input. So if you put in a 0 or a negative or a number, you could also do else if guess greater than 30, then also invalid response. You could combine those. We'll do that later. Invalid input. So we've got if they're equal, if it's too low, if it's too high, like out of the range. And now you can compare if guess is greater than secret, then you can say your guess too high, else if guess less than secret, then your guess too low. That should pretty much cover everything. Okay, I think it's right. If you run your program, you should find out. I'll just test it. I know the secret number is 22, so I already tested 22. I'm going to put in 25. It should say too high. And then if I go 20, it should say too low. And if I say 31, it should say invalid. And if I say 0, it should say invalid. And again, 22, we got it. Okay, and you could add in lots of extras here, but one thing I want you to know is it's the same thing here as there is with the text box. If I type in a letter of the alphabet and I try to stick it into an integer, my program gets very upset. Okay, so you're going to do the exact same thing here that you do with the text box, and that is to add the val. And now it would convert it to a 0, and we already have it so that if you type in a 0 or an A, it's going to say invalid input. Pay attention to the fact that your input box has another button, the cancel button. When you click cancel, it returns an empty string. An empty string gets changed to a 0, invalid input. Not ideal, but good enough for now. Okay, so now you know how to use an input box to get information from the user without putting a text box on your form. Okay, why does everybody have a 22 showing up? Okay, but we all have the same number. You've got to put randomize in here. Everybody put randomize in your form load. Don't put it in the guess click. It should only run once. Run your program. I still have a 22. Do you guys have a 22? Oh, you know why? You got to put it above finding the secret number. Run your program. I have 13. Does everybody have a different number? We all have different numbers now. And this here was just for testing. Okay. And that's it.